Let's be honest. You've been watching the games and you felt it. That little voice in the back of your head telling you that what you're seeing happen to Kaden Clark isn't just tough basketball. And you heard the excuses that it's just a welcome to the league moment, but that nagging feeling hasn't gone away. Now, the biggest voices at ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports, are finally saying what we all been thinking. They are confirming our suspicions and is forcing a conversation that WNBA can no longer avoid. The old narrative is dead, and we're about to break down what top analysts are finally admitting and why this has become a genuine crisis for the WNBA. From the second Caitlin Clark stepped on the WNBA court, a narrative was born. Every hip check, every off ball shove, and every brutal screen was just physical basketball. And it's a classic workplace scenario, right? And a new person comes in, and they get saddled with all grunt work, and it's called paying your dues. But there's a line between paying your dues and being subjected to hostile environment. That line has been crossed. Even Clark tried to downplay it after that blatant shoulder check from Chennedy Carter, a foul the league itself had upgraded to flagrant. And Clark said it was just a physical game. And she was trying to be professional to not make waves. But as the hits kept coming, the welcome started to look a lot more like a targeted campaign. And these weren't just hard fouls, they were cheap shots away from the ball designed to send a message. And the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, tried to manage the perception, saying it is physical. Everyone thinks it's just Caitlin, but everybody's getting bumped. But the fans, like myself, the people watching with their own eyes, we ain't buying it. The hits on Clark looked different. They felt different, and the flimsy excuse that this was business as usual was about to be blown up on national television. So one cheap shot can get dismissed, but two might be a coincidence. What they usually say, if someone paints you a picture the first time, don't let them paint you another one. But when you see a pattern emerge across multiple games and multiple teams, it starts to look like evidence. And the evidence against the it's just basketball defense has been piling up since game one. Let's talk about Exhibit A, the Kennedy Carter incident. There was no basketball play to be made. Carter walked up to Clark before an inbound pass and delivered a blindside shoulder check. It was so obviously not a basketball play that the league had to step in and upgrade it to a flagrant one foul a day later. And Carter called it a heat of the moment play. But millions of viewers called it what it was, a cheap shot. Then there was the game against the Connecticut Sun, where another hard foul on Clark was upgraded to a flagrant one. And this isn't just about isolated incidents, it's the constant grinding off ball abuse she endures just to get open. And Clark herself admitted it. Feels different for her, saying, I think everybody is physical with me. They get away with things that probably other people don't get away with. The pattern became so obvious that the most powerful sports network in the world had to stop ignoring it. Well, it's not as powerful as it used to be, ESPN, because we know content creators are now taking over, and ESPN is forced to compete with content creators because we all know that ESPN was not covering the WNBA until this year and this season more effectively and more consistently. So the real shift happened when ESPN's own people stopped just calling the game and start calling out the injustice. Announcers Ryan Rucco and Hall of Famer Rebecca Lobo basically turned a live broadcast into an officiating investigation. And Lobo started breaking down plays, showing replay after replay of uncalled fouls. There's a grab, there's a hold, there's another grab, every single one of them. And Lobo said her frustration obvious. That's a foul, that's a foul. And finally, they called one of them. And that's not just commentary, it's a live indictment on the league's failure to protect its biggest star. And the conversation then exploded on ESPN's debate shows. Stephen A. Smith has been hammering this for months, and he doesn't mince his words, as we know, as much as loud and annoying he can be. He attributes the targeting to pure resentment over the attention Clark receives. He argued that other players ignore the fact that they got charter flights because of this girl, that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl, and instead they resented it. Pat McAfee has used his huge platform to say the same thing, pointing out the double standard and how refs are forcing Clark's teammates to become enforcers. When ESPN starts singing the same song from its Hall of Fame analysts, to its biggest personalities, you know it's just not a fan theory anymore. It's a firestorm. And I feel like ESPN is only saying it because they want to get on the ratings and the clicks and gain a likelihood of viewers from content creators, because ESPN is competing from a business perspective with content creators. Because now, why all of a sudden ESPN wants to cover the WNBA? Because they want in on the viewership, they want in on the ratings. They're competing just like the rest of us. So now they want to get in on it and say what the fans and content creators like myself been saying, because now they want to make sure that people stay tuned into their show, First Take or whatever the case may be. But the thing is, it really took for not the fans to say what we already been saying, but Sophia Cunningham to confirm it. And then once Sophia Cunningham, one of the WNBA players in the league, obviously with Indiana Fever, a teammate of Caitlin Clark, who's considered an enforcer, to step up and really call out this injustice, for ESPN to finally acknowledge it when the fans have been saying it this whole time. And it's like the fans not even worthy of having a conversation, of understanding that there is injustice, and it doesn't take that much for even a child maybe to see. But anyway, I'll show you the clip of Sophia Cunningham saying that players were targeting Caitlin Clark, and then I'll show you the ESPN's clip. Let's check it out.
Like, you have seen players in our league try to like toughen up Caitlin. We call her CC. For even when I wasn't on her team, like I know the talks that Phoenix had in the locker room of like, no, we're gonna prove her, we're gonna show her what the W really is. You know what I mean? And like, I get it to a certain extent. And like every rookie coming into the league, that's how you're gonna treat them. But
Right.
there's just more for her. So it's her second year. And like now being on her team and like seeing it, I'm like, what are people doing? Like, actually, it's just too much. Too much. Like,
There you have it. Now, this is ESPN's take on it. I want you guys to check it out.
I think Caitlin's had a little bit of a target on her back probably since she came into the league. She pushes back, though, Ramona.
Yeah, some of that is just hazing. Some of that is exactly what Sophie said. But I also think that she's defined herself as the enforcer now. And I think the fact that her teammates have her back and they're going to stand up for her is what they've been waiting for. The question is, will the refs?
I think Caitlin's
Okay, but it's the thing, though. It's not just about, what about what the fans and Sophie said? So let's get to the uncomfortable truth. Why is this happening? As ESPN's top analysts have pointed out, it's a toxic mix of jealousy, resentment, and a broken sense of tradition. And Stephen A. Smith said it best. It's not that players hate Clark personally, but they hate what she represents. And he explained that many great players were in the WNBA for years and never got this kind of shine. So think about it like this. A new hire walks into a struggling company and immediately lands a client that saves the entire business. Everyone gets a raise, better benefits, a nicer office. But instead of celebrating, some of the veteran employees resent the person for getting the credit. That's what's happening here. The charter flights, the sold out arenas, the massive TV ratings, they are directly tied to Caitlin Clark. Her debut was the most watched WNBA game on ESPN ever, and her games are pulling in millions of viewers, numbers previously unheard of for the league. This welcome to the league strategy has completely backfired. It hasn't intimidated Clark. It exposed a league culture that seems to be punishing its biggest asset. And the Indiana Fever's coach, Stephanie White, seen it. She says it. And back then, well, before head coach Stephanie White, remember head coach Christy Sides, last year, Caitlin Clark's first year in the WNBA, she even said how tough it is to watch Clark keep getting hammered, and that was Christy Sides, without getting the foul call she deserves. And this is bigger than basketball now. It's about the WNBA's integrity. The league can either let this go on or risk injury to its marquee player and alienate millions of new fans, or it can heed the alarms being rung by ESPN and finally step up. The truth is out, with ESPN's most respected voices now openly confirming the pattern of aggression against Caitlin Clark. The league can't pretend this isn't happening. This is a defining moment for the WNBA, but I want to know what you think. Is this just tough physical basketball, or has it crossed the line into a targeted campaign based on resentment? Drop your common sense take in the comments below. What does the WNBA need to do to fix this? And if you want to keep getting real unfiltered analysis on this story or more, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss our next update. So let's call it what it is. The "it's just physical basketball" narrative is officially dead. The conversation started by fans and now blasted through the megaphones at ESPN has changed everything from Rebecca Lobo breaking down illegal plays on live TV to Stephen A. Smith calling out a culture of resentment. The quiet part is now being said out loud. And this was never about one player being soft. It's about rather one player is being subjected to a dangerous level of aggression that is bad for her and bad for the sport. And Caitlin Clark has handled this with more professionalism than most could muster, but her grace doesn't let the league off the hook. The WNBA is riding a tidal wave of popularity has never experienced before, and that wave has created almost entirely by this one player. So the question isn't if she's being targeted anymore. The question is, what is the WNBA going to do about it? Because thanks to ESPN, the entire world is watching and we all here waiting for an answer. But I want to know you guys' thoughts down in the comments below. And if you got some value from this video, get this video a big thumbs up. It helps crush that YouTube algorithm. I love you guys. And at the end of the day, you're not going to get no top of the line information, let alone straight up simplified analogies and examples from a childlike perspective or a C student perspective like me. So this is the realest of the corn, the realest of the crop. So come and join the family. On that note, family, love you guys. I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.